Kicks 105.5. Good morning. I'm JJ. It is Wednesday, March 23rd, 7:49. Currently 20 degrees outside. We have in the studio with us Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Good. I was just looking. Don't worry, we're good.
Okay.
Checking, making sure the recording was going.
I'm trying to stay dry. I think I need some swampers just to get to my car.
Yeah, it is the season for mud, right?
It is. It's just Vermont has 5 seasons.
Oh no, usually 6. Because we get what we're getting tonight with another blast of winter, and then mud season comes back again. So we get 2 mud seasons.
So mud season part 1, mud season part 2.
Yeah, part 2 is not usually so bad, but it's still not great. So.
Okay. So other than mud, what are we talking about this morning?
So this morning, we are kind of in the shifting of the seasons. So I thought, okay, snowmobilers are going away, motorcycles and ATVs can be more or less the 12-month out of the year vehicle, right? But some ATVs do see some not some use, they don't get a lot of use, if any use, in the wintertime. Campers and motorhomes. So it's time to think about making sure that you have proper coverage on those units to make sure that you can get out there. I've talked about it over the snowmobiling season, is that there are some companies now that you can have a snowmobile and a motorcycle and an ATV all in the same policy, which is great because when you have a snowmobile, if you don't have a loan on it, a lot of folks are apprehensive about paying insurance for it all season long, even though the company's rate for the average use for a geographical location, if they can avoid paying, it's kind of preferred. So a lot of people will buy a snowmobile policy when it snows and cancel it when it melts. With having the ability to put it on a policy with maybe some of your other recreational toys, you can just reduce coverage on that unit in the off-season while it's in storage. Obviously, you're not going to go snowmobiling this time of year, so maybe you just reduce coverage. But you want to make sure you're thinking about getting those motorcycles properly covered. Make sure you have all the coverage that is going to be properly protecting you. A lot of times I see on these recreational vehicles that people don't put medical payments coverage on it. Vital to have that. Medical payments would cover you, and if you have a passenger on the motorcycle or ATV or snowmobile with you, those medical payments would be available to you and the passenger up to the limit of your choosing to help you with some immediate medical attention, which is really just key. I've seen how that can come into play. So just make sure you have it all dialed in. Go further. Motorhomes and campers. A lot of people reduce coverage on those. Now, granted, if it's getting pulled by a vehicle and it's a camper, the liability is coming from your tow vehicle, right? Well, some people will reduce coverage, maybe take collision coverage off those units and just keep comprehensive on, because you can do that in the wintertime while it's stored. Well, if you are one of those folks, make sure you put the collision back on before you go out. That way you're not caught off guard if something was to happen and an accident occurred and you find you didn't have proper coverage. But even more important is those who have seasonal vehicles. You got the Mustang. I don't care if it's a classic or an antique, which you may have a Haggerty or a J.C. Taylor policy for year round. But if my father, for example, has a vehicle that's not a winter vehicle. It's a Ford Mustang, and that thing does not see any action in the wintertime. It sees garage. So a lot of folks, when they have that situation, will reduce coverage. They can take liability off that vehicle, reduce to comprehensive only, so that you're covered for the perils that your vehicle is exposed to while in storage. But you have to reinstate all liability coverage before you get back on the road. Otherwise, you're not meeting the requirements by the state of Vermont and could find yourself in a boo-boo situation. You don't want that.
Oh, no. We don't want boo-boos.
No.
So just talking with you just made me think of a question.
Sure.
ATVs. Now, there's a whole different bunch of them.
Yeah.
Different styles. There's side-by-sides. There's, of course, four-wheelers. There used to be three-wheelers. I don't think they even manufacture those anymore.
I don't think so. Nobody wants to even insure three-wheelers either, so.
So that was my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of their tendency to roll over.
Yeah, they can be a problematic vehicle for sure. But ATVs, and, you talk about the side-by-sides. Well, now there's, they call them UTVs. Utility vehicles for sure. So there's plenty of options for them. There's many companies that write them. And we've talked in the past how with snowmobiles and ATVs, not motorcycles, so that's the exception to the rule here, but ATVs and motorcycles, and even to some degree boats, you can actually have an endorsement on your homeowner policy to cover those units. While that may be attractive to some, remember that you're missing some of the key coverages that you would want if you have them on a separate policy, such as uninsured motorist protection, medical payments protection for you as the operator. So, if you've kind of kept them on your homeowner policy forever, just kind of haven't touched it, now's the time to think about making a change, because you may find not only are you getting more optimal protection, you might find that you're getting a better price as well. So,
Okay, so thinking along those lines and talking about ATVs,
yeah,
and different styles and whatnot. So you have some of these ones that have the metal tracks that can go through snow.
sure.
Okay, so is there a difference in covering that particular vehicle rather than one with just 4 tires?
Sure. Well, you are bringing up a good question. So for liability purposes and for rating purposes, no, there's really not a difference there. But now you're looking at some equipment that's not necessarily coming from the factory. This is not the unit as it sits, right? You take the wheels off and you put in the custom equipment to make it so it's got tracks so you can go in the wintertime. You want to make sure you're covering that type of equipment. A lot of the people, especially with UTVs, they go all out. They're getting the nice enclosures and heat and stereos and maybe you plow your driveway with one. Maybe if you have all these attachments that are not what you're getting off the showroom, that's going to be considered custom equipment that you're going to want to make sure you have proper coverage for. If you have an ATV that's got $10,000 worth of custom equipment and you have a total accident, if you don't have custom equipment added onto your policy, you're running the risk of not having coverage for that, and you'd only get a new ATV, or fixed ATV, I should say. So not a new one necessarily.
Right, so all that stuff that you had put into it
Gone.
is toast.
Gone. So custom equipment is available on motorcycle policies, ATV policies, and snowmobile policies. So if you soup up or tweak or add some components, make sure you have the receipts for those handy, which I'm sure everyone does, but also more importantly, make sure you're adding it to your insurance policy so it's considered part of the coverage that you have. Same holds true for vehicles, right? I mean, if you start adding custom equipment to your car, you're going to want to make sure you have accounted for that, because companies otherwise, and I think a car is a great example, if you have a total loss with a car, it's going to be considered actual cash value on the car. Well, if you have additional items that you've added to it, that's not factored. So you want to make sure you're accounting for that. Things like snow plows and different bodies for a truck or things like that. So,
Yeah, running boards.
Yeah.
Some of those things can get kind of pricey.
if it's not what came off the showroom, that's not being factored in the loss. So you want to make sure you're having you're accounting for it with the custom equipment that's available on these policies. So there you go.
There you go. Okay, so do you insure toasters?
Toasters. Yes, we do. Considered personal property.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Touche.
All right, Mike. That's definitely some good information to know. If folks want to reach out to you, how do they get a hold of you?
So simple. Give us a call, 748-5224. You'll find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com. Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
Well, thanks so much for stopping in and talking with us this morning. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Have a good day, and good luck with the ice.
And snow, or not snow, water.
A little bit of everything. Well, the
I
weather
have a
tonight-
lake in my driveway.
Well, that's good. Stock it with some fish and have it be fun.
I'm thinking some polywogs.
There you go.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Be well.